Tyranny of the Hat by Liam Campbell and Clara Lucas. Log 15. Shock to the system. Duck and Diesel rolled into a small but still grand station in the middle of Sodor, Kildane. They traversed into the yards and left their long train of what they could only presume to be poles for the electric line. They found the nearest shed and silently went to sleep without saying a word. Duck awoke the next morning to the smell of diesel oil and the chattering of an engine. He blinked his eyes open in a delayed fashion to see a small, boxy, brown engine sitting in front of the shed, blabbering his mouth away to Diesel. Diesel sat there nonchalantly, ignoring the chatterbox. "And so I was like, oh, you're awake," cheered the box. "Hello, I'm Stafford. Pleasure to meet you, Duck. Oh, I've just been waiting to meet you. I've heard so much about you from the workmen." Duck looked to Diesel, the two locking eyes. "You knew," whispered Duck consideringly. "He's a bit ecstatic." Diesel snickered. The two never agreed with each other on anything, except for this one. During their coming days, Duck and Diesel remained solemn. They would only speak to the crews. Stafford didn't understand the feud. At night, he would try to get them to talk to each other, but it only dissolved into bitter arguing. "Hello!" he cried one morning as Duck and Diesel were at the work site, putting up electrical poles. They sat at the base of Shane Dooney Mountain. It towered over them, enveloping them like a shadow. "Sorry I'm late. My battery didn't charge properly last night. Had to take a bit of time this morning to get it up." Duck and Diesel said nothing as they manned the cranes. The two silently pondered why only half the line was electric and the other wasn't. "The line used to be powered by coal, but there was only so much coal to go around that they decided to electrify one part of the line," answered Stafford very quickly. "Eventually, though, the people providing the electricity shut down in the 40s. Something with Sodor? I don't know. I was the only engine working on the branch until you two came along. They thought it better to put batteries in me since I wasn't used often and to charge me off the power supplies from the town." Stafford paused. "But I have you two now. Oh, we're gonna be the best of—" "Shut up!" growled Diesel for the first time in ages. "We're trying to concentrate, and it's hard enough as is when you won't shut your trap," he growled as the crane arm shook. Stafford, unfazed, smiled. "Right, sorry. I'm told sometimes driver—" "Stop it, Stafford. Right, bye!" And he rolled away. Silence. Everything was silent. The two engines sighed in relief. "Thank you," sighed Duck. The Diesel remained tranquil. "He's a character. He means well, you know, but—" He rolled his words. It felt odd. He hadn't spoken in a long time. His mouth felt dry, and his tongue felt odd as he rounded his mouth around it to form words. "Ugh," he sputtered. "Tell me about it," continued Diesel. "Those electrics, they're meant to be seen and not heard. You'd think that a worm who was isolated and creeps around tunnels, and you're back to normal," scoffed Duck. "Pardon? As soon as you get a chance, you go back to normal because, of course, what did I expect? Duck, it's simple, really. That you're scared that you'll be replaced by Stafford's kind? That you think making yourself inferior, that maybe, just maybe, you'll actually be someone." Diesel scoffed. "Electric, inferior, puh, kill or be killed." Duck paused. "I knew those words as well." Diesel stammered before shunting the crane forward. The power lines fell hard like dominoes. Men stumbled to try to save the progress. Diesel stammered forward, but he was blocked off by trucks on all lines. He found himself stuck in a cage with his enemy. "Let me out! Let me out! Let me out!" he cried. Various Diesel snickered. "Sorry, little guy," smirked one, "but this is our train."
"Besides,"
laughed another,
"a gronk like you can never pull trains like us."
Diesel biffed and bumped into them, trying to break himself out of his siding, out of his prison. The Diesels laughed at his failed attempts.
"Stop it,"
they laughed. Diesel shunted them again. "Stop it," they said more sternly. The Diesel shunted them harder. "Stop it!" Diesel rammed them as hard as he could. He broke free as the Diesel in front of him went flying. The other Diesel scoffed and flung himself onto Diesel's line. The two growled like an old western showdown. They shot forward on an inaudible gun. Buffers meant buffers, and sparks flew in the air. The Diesel was winning. He was winning. He stuttered as he watched sleek, modern electric engines creep through the yards around the Diesel, slowly taking the trucks away. Visions appeared in front of the engine's face. fighting steam engines and sending them to the scrapyard. They fade into other diesels, his kind, and soon Sydney and Paxton rotting away in a siding. The diesel erupted into a flame. Duck was beyond shocked as workmen flitted around him, crying for someone call the fire brigade. Duck remained where he was for the next few hours. Shane Dooney towered in front of him as he looked at the chalked up diesel. He had somehow remained in one piece, but was heavily scorched. Stephen stood there, shaking his head. He said nothing as he left for his car and drove off. Duck's fireman stoked his fire as his driver slowly brought the engine forward. It buffered into diesel. A workman coupled the engines back to back. The pannier towed the diesel slowly away. We knew what it's like. Paddington, the main line was the real show. The yards were chaotic. We fought for each other's trains, for everyone to come on top. Duck laughed. It wasn't the Great Western Way. Duck knew that Diesel didn't want to talk, but he continued anyway. We're alike. We both had the same history. I've wondered, maybe in some other universe, we could maybe... Diesel's engine slightly spluttered through the gashes. I don't... He paused. Want to get rid of you. He spluttered on his words. He felt revolted by his voice. He winced harshly. But it was the truth. He folded as he continued. I was built to replace, to be the most revolutionary thing ever built. We were forced to take this idea down our radius, get rid of steam, conquer the rest. I just didn't know that the rest was my own kind. Sydney and Paxton, they're annoying, but you're right. They're my brothers. I need to take care of them more. The two fell silent once more. And I don't not like you. He's scrapping me. Pardon? Stephen is going to be bringing me to the smelter's yard in the coming days. What? He can't! Thus is the only natural course of an engine. We won't let him. We